It started with one envelope, white, sealed, and labeled confidential. Do not open in public. When a courtroom clerk inadvertently dropped it during Kody Brown's custody hearing, all activity came to a halt. Robyn went blank. Christine paled. And for the first time in TLC history, cameras were instructed to turn off. What did the envelope contain? Why was Kody acting as if he'd seen a specter? Tonight we're going behind the scenes of the hidden DNA envelope. Kody's biggest secret never featured on TLC. And before we get started, ask me in the comments, do you think TLC actually keeps the truth from viewers? Or is Kody hiding something more? The courtroom was eerily silent that morning. You could practically hear the gentle hum of the fluorescent lights overhead, the squeak of sneakers on the waxed floor. The case name was Brown versus Brown. Petition for paternity and custody. It should have been another run-of-the-mill legal battle between exes. But every person in that room, from the judge to the producers for TLC hovering outside, recognized this was different. Christine Brown had petitioned weeks before. She sought official acknowledgement of Kody's paternity of Truly, their youngest. But there was a bizarre notation in her filing, additional DNA documentation requested by third party. Nobody quite understood what it was, not even her attorney. Then, in the most unexpected way possible, an anonymous report was attached to the case. Sealed, stamped with certification from the court, and tagged DNA private record. There was no sender, no address on the envelope, only that label. When Kody showed up, he was himself, loud, boisterous, attempting to flirt his way past the courthouse doors. But even before they called the hearing to order, something in his face was telling a story. He glanced toward Robyn, who was seated 2 rows in back. She hadn't slept in days, she looked like. Christine wouldn't look at either of them. She sat up straight, her hands clenched tightly, as if she were keeping in decades of anger and sorrow. Mr. Brown, the judge said, prior to custody, this court has received a sealed document related to this case. Do you know what it says? Kody paused. No, Your Honor, he answered slowly. But I think it's not as it seems. That was when TLC's lead producer, who sat in the back row, leaned forward to tell his cameraman. In seconds, the camera lights went dark. The show, for the first time in its long, crazy history, wasn't permitted to record. And that's when the mystery really started. Whatever's inside that envelope? Meri asked Janelle in the hallway. Janelle shook her head. Christine says it's about Truly, but I've seen that look on Robyn's face before. Something's off. Robyn wouldn't speak to anyone. She kept her purse clutched against her chest, eyes down, her fingers trembling. Whatever was in that envelope wasn't just about Truly. It was bigger, deeper, something that reached into the heart of the entire Brown family. Your Honor, Kody's lawyer cut in. We object to the entry of this document into evidence. We do not know where it originated, and it may be an invasion of privacy. The judge scowled. Mr. Brown, if it's pertinent to the paternity action, I will rule on that. The judge addressed Christine's attorney. Do you know anything about this document? Christine's attorney pushed his glasses up on his nose. Your Honor, we didn't submit it, but we do have good reason to believe it's directly linked to the petitioner's petition. The judge inclined his head. Then it remains sealed pending review. And with a single slam of the gavel, courtroom tension seemed to shiver. Sometimes the truth isn't concealed because it's threatening. It's concealed because something significant wants it to remain buried. Later in the day, whispers spread like wildfire in Flagstaff. Fans waiting outside the courthouse began to guess. Some said the envelope held a DNA test that proved Kody wasn't Truly's dad. Others believed it was about Robyn's kids, or worse, another hidden child altogether. But one rumor surpassed the rest, that the envelope wasn't from Christine or the court, but from someone inside TLC, a former crew member. Per a reported online leak that surfaced just hours earlier, an insider from TLC had threatened to release unedited court evidence, unless the network issued a humongous settlement. TLC never publicly commented, but by morning, all remnants of that post were erased, gone, deleted, vanished. In the meantime, within the Brown family, there was chaos building. Meri dialed Robyn. No response. Janelle sent a text to Kody, but he responded with a mere 2 words. Not now. Christine, meanwhile, was eerily composed. In a subsequent private confession filmed for the show, she whispered, "For years he's kept things from us, things that never made it on TV. But this is the one thing he can't hide anymore." She cracked at the end. She wasn't mad, she was wounded. You could sense the years of silence in her words. That evening, Robyn was spotted stepping out of her home in tears, holding what appeared to be a yellow folder. She entered her car and drove away without uttering a word to the waiting paparazzi. When the truth starts leaking, even the strongest lies begin to drown. The following morning, TMZ announced that TLC executives had sat down with their attorneys in Los Angeles. The sit-down took more than 3 hours. And when a reporter asked whether it had anything to do with the Brown family situation, one executive simply stated, "We don't discuss active legal matters." But in the background, several sources alleged that TLC was attempting to keep that sealed envelope of DNA from being opened ever in public court. They did not want it to say, not only about Kody, but about the show's integrity itself. Kody, on the other hand, began shying away from cameras altogether. His social media became quiet. Even Robyn went missing from the limelight. For the fans, it was as if the family had disappeared overnight. Then, 1 week later, an overzealous court clerk inadvertently posted an update in the public case log. Document, DNA evidence received. Under seal. And in that instant, all of America's Sister Wives viewers knew something explosive was brewing. Christine shared one vague message on Instagram the same evening: "Some secrets aren't meant to stay hidden forever." The post was removed after 10 minutes, but by then, screenshots had gone viral. Every secret leaves a trail, and the Browns were about to follow it straight into the courtroom. By the end of that week, a confidential hearing was scheduled at the court. Cameras prohibited, public admission limited. Only family members, attorneys, and one unidentified representative from TLC's legal department were permitted entry. And sitting there on the judge's desk, heavy and thick with secrets, was that sealed envelope as Robyn's shaking voice whispered to Kody, "You said this would never see the light of day." He didn't respond. He just sat straight ahead, at that envelope that would ruin everything. When the judge finally opened up the envelope, the whole courtroom fell silent. There was a ripping sound that echoed like thunder. And that's when Kody whispered something that no microphone caught. But Christine's face spoke volumes. She already knew. "What do you believe is in that DNA envelope? Is it something about Kody, or is Robyn holding back something even greater?" When that letter opener of the judge cut into that envelope, the universe came to a standstill. Robyn's hand rushed to cover her mouth. Kody's jaw tightened, and Christine leaned forward, her gaze fixed upon a reality she had taken years to witness. But before the contents were open, Kody did something everyone least expected. He got up, went directly to the judge's bench and uttered, "That document would ruin my family. Please do not read it." If you were in that courtroom, would you want to be told the truth, or preserve the family's remaining peace? Tell me below before we go further. Because this is where it all begins to fall apart. Tension hung in the air. You could hear the soft hum of the ceiling lights, the rustle of papers, the heavy breath before someone's world comes crashing down. Judge Harrison peered over his glasses at Kody. "Mr. Brown, the court cannot stifle evidence that could influence paternity or custody." Kody's voice quavered. "It's not about truly, Your Honor. This is something else." Christine scowled, muttering to her attorney, "Something else. What is he saying?" The judge waved to the bailiff to bring him the letter opener. As the cover folded back, the room grew tense, like the walls were holding their breath. Robyn clamped her hands into fists, her knuckles whitening. Kody kept his eyes averted from everyone's. His normally assured stance diminished into something smaller, almost brittle. Sometimes, silence screams louder than any confession. Judge Harrison removed a lone sheet of paper. His eyes read the first lines, and his brow creased. He glanced up at Kody, then back down at Robyn. "Mr. Brown," the judge said with caution, "do you know this?" Kody swallowed hard. "I don't know what you're talking about." The judge flipped the page to the attorneys. "This is not merely a DNA report. This is a chain of custody file, dated 2010. Christine gasped. That was the year Robyn came into the family. the year everything changed. The courtroom buzzed. Even the stenographer stopped her typing for a second. Judge Harrison read on. The report states that there is a DNA match between Kody W. Brown and an unidentified infant. The source of the sample seems to be from Arizona State Hospital. The mother is redacted. Robyn's head fell. Tears splashed onto the table. Meri whispered, "Oh my God, Kody, what have you done?" Janelle's eyes shifted from face to face. "Wait, does that mean there's another child?" The judge held up his hand to silence the commotion. "I will remind everyone, this is a closed hearing. No recording, no broadcasting, no discussion outside this room." The lawyer from TLC nodded stiffly, as though he'd rather be anywhere else. Christine rose. "Your Honor, if I may, I have a right to know whether this bears on my child. Is that test related to my claim of custody?" The judge stalled. "That's exactly why we are here." He turned another page. "The report says the DNA sample has a 99.97% chance of paternity." Gasps rose in the courtroom. Kody closed his eyes. Robyn collapsed into tears, sobbing into her hands. Christine's attorney sat forward. "Your Honor, if we might inquire, whose DNA was compared to Mr. Brown's?" The judge shook his head. "That is redacted information. The names of the mother and child are sealed. But it looks like the mother sought confidentially from TLC in a legal agreement in 2011. Everyone looked at Robyn. She whispered softly, almost inaudibly, "It was meant to be buried forever." Past doesn't die when you bury it. It waits for the perfect moment to bite back. Kody pounded his fists on the story. "That's it. This isn't right. That report, it's a mistake. It's a setup by the network. They've been controlling our lives for ratings for 15 years. The judge's voice became cold. "Mr. Brown, please calm down." But Christine moved forward. "Ratings? Kody, are you accusing TLC of knowing about this?" Kody said nothing. Robyn whispered, "They paid for it." The room blew up. Christine exclaimed, "You're saying TLC ordered a DNA test without telling us about it? For what? For an episode that never aired." TLC's lawyer jumped to his feet. "Your Honor, I have to object. Any mention of internal network procedure is confidential." The judge sighed. "We'll get to that later. At the moment, I need to know why this paper was brought into the court." Robyn gazed up, tears streaming down. "Because someone needs the truth out now. It's not about money anymore." Her voice trembled, but she finally locked eyes with Kody. "You said it was over, Kody. You said she was gone." Kody's lips moved, but the words never formed. Judge Harrison leaned forward. "Mrs. Brown, are you stating that you have knowledge of this DNA test's origin?" Robyn nodded weakly. "I was with them when they drew the sample. They told me it was for medical records. I didn't think they'd do this with it." The judge's pen halted halfway through the note. Christine's complexion went pale. "Robyn, who are they?" Robyn's response was a whispered word that caused every backbone in that room to stiffen. "TLC's producers." And Kody instructed them to. The judge was taken aback. "Mr. Brown, is that so?" Kody didn't answer. He just hung his head, puffing. The deeper the secret, the louder the silence becomes. At last, the judge spoke. "We'll adjourn for 15 minutes. I have to consult counsel." He rose and left the rest of them stuck. As soon as the door hit the back of his head, Christine turned to Robyn. "You knew all this time, while I was raising our children on my own?" Robyn wept. "Christine, I did not want this. I was instructed to be silent." Meri spoke softly. "By whom?" "Kody?" Robyn nodded. Kody finally lifted his head. His eyes were reddened. "Raw. You don't know. If that test would have come back then, the entire show would have been cancelled. We would have lost everything." Christine shook her head slowly. "You already lost everything, Kody, just not in the way you thought." The bailiff returned. "All rise." Judge Harrison returned, holding another document. "Before we resume," he said, "this court has received a supplemental note that was attached to the DNA report." He opened a small folded slip and read, "If the truth is ever revealed, look at the third signature on page 2. He flipped the paper. Then he froze. His expression hardened. "Mr. Brown," he drawled slowly, "why is your name signed next to the box that reads sample confirmation?" Minor. The courtroom went silent. Robyn's voice broke. "Kody, What did you sign? He whispered. I thought it was insurance papers. I didn't know. They'd be using my name for that. Christine's attorney stood up. Your Honor, we must know who Minor Ah is. The judge's voice dropped. That information is sealed for now. But based on what I'm reading, it appears Minor Ah is not truly brown. Kody's face drained of color. Robyn stared straight ahead, frozen. Christine whispered, then who? Judge Harrison folded the papers. The court will reconvene tomorrow morning. Until then, no one is to speak of this document outside these walls. The gavel came down with a heavy crack. As everyone filed out, Robyn turned to Kody one last time and said, trembling, you promised me she'd never find out. Kody whispered, she wasn't supposed to exist at all. Outside the courthouse, paparazzi shouted questions, flashes blinding the Browns as they walked silently to their cars. But the next morning, before the court could reconvene, a copy of that DNA report appeared online, with one line visible through the blur. Sample B. Mother R. Brown. What would you do if you were Robyn? Would you at last reveal the whole truth to the world, or shield Kody one more time? When the DNA report went on the web, it broke the news, and broke up the family. A single fuzzy screenshot, one censored line readable. Sample B. Mother R. Brown. By morning, Kody Brown DNA scandal was trending nationwide. Within the Brown residences, phones were exploding. Fans were enraged. TLC was mum. And somewhere in Flagstaff, Kody Brown was gazing at his own face, understanding the one thing he'd promised to keep hidden was now ripping its way out. But here's the thing, was the leak by accident? Or did someone within the Brown household want the world to discover it? It was shortly before 6 a.m. when Janelle's phone vibrated with a barrage of notifications. Her sister messaged, turn on TMZ. They're reporting Robyn's baby isn't what we believe. Janelle froze. She turned on her laptop and read the headline in bold red. DNA report leak. Minor Ah, connected to Kody and Robyn Brown. There it was. The tale they'd struggled so desperately to conceal, now splashed across every gossip page and YouTube video in America. Christine's son Peyton went live on TikTok an hour later, his face crimson with rage. They always said that the truth was sacred, he declared. Turns out, Dad's been lying from day one. The video had more than 2 million hits in a matter of minutes. Meanwhile at Robyn's place Chas, the blinds were closed tight. Paparazzi lingered outside. The children cried, wondering why strangers online were being mean to their mom. Robyn scrolled on Twitter, hearing the same thing repeated repeatedly. DNA doesn't lie. Who is Minor Ah? Did Kody father another child? Her hands trembled as she dialed Kody. It's out, she sobbed. It's all out. Someone leaked it. Kody's voice was empty. I know. TLC just called me. She snapped. What did they say? They're denying responsibility, but they want me to record a comeback. A special episode's their terms, not mine. Robyn's heart drooped. They want to monetize this. Kody whispered. They always do. When your life is a television show, even your worst moments become someone else's entertainment. By noon, reporters had encircled the courthouse. The clerk of the judge confirmed that a digital version of the DNA report had been swiped from a legal aid's email. An internal investigation was launched, but too late. Christine and Janelle were already trending on TikTok, fans wondering if they'd been the ones who leaked it. Christine live-streamed to put an end to the speculation. Her eyes were weary but intense. I didn't spill it. But perhaps this is karma for how long Kody's been hiding behind cameras and excuses. Janelle calmer took to Instagram. The truth has a way of seeing the light. My heart breaks for all parties involved, particularly the children. Their words only fueled the blaze. Fans started taking sides. Hashtags going wild. #Team Christine versus #Team Robyn. That night, TLC issued a cold two-sentence statement. TLC has no statement regarding the private legal situation involving the Brown family. We stand by respecting their privacy and continuing to share their stories with integrity. Integrity? Fans weren't buying it. Within the Brown family group chat, the one that had been devoid of messages for months, Meri finally voiced something. You all wanted this life. Cameras, fame, secrets. Now look where we are. Christine responded, I didn't want this, Meri. I wanted honesty. And Robyn, who had not said a word in hours, finally typed a sentence before excusing herself from the chat. You don't know what honesty costs. Sometimes the truth doesn't set you free. It burns everything around you until there's nothing left to hide behind. That evening, Kody consented to tape TLC's emergency special. Cameras were placed in his Flagstaff living room, the same one where the family formally recorded their holiday celebration. Now ominously quiet. He sat in his chair, gazing into the camera. His face appeared older, his eyes demoralized. I did wrong, he said haltingly. There were things the audience was never meant to hear. Not because I didn't want to tell the truth, but because the truth would have killed us all. The cameraman's producer stepped forward and quietly asked, Kody, can you tell us who Minor A is? Kody paused. His lip quivered, and then he said, no, because she doesn't even know. A hush descended so heavy, the crew hardly dared breathe. What do you mean? The producer questioned. Kody leaned in. Minor A isn't an ordinary child. She's grown now, and she doesn't even know who her own parents are. The crew exchanged horrified glances. So you're saying, the producer pressed, there's an adult woman out there who's your biological daughter, and she doesn't know it? Kody looked down, tears in his eyes. I thought we'd buried it forever. The next morning, Christine's lawyer received an anonymous email. No name, no subject line. Just an attachment labeled proof. Page 2. When opened, it showed the full version of the leaked DNA report. And right under Kody's signature, another one. Witness, R. Sullivan. Christine was shocked. That name was unfamiliar. But Robyn's last name before her first marriage had been Robyn Sullivan. She realized then, Robyn had witnessed the DNA test in person. That meant that she knew everything from the beginning. Meanwhile, a Reddit forum went wild overnight, alleging that Minor A was born prior to Robyn marrying Kody, potentially connected to an Arizona private hospital where TLC shot initial interviews back in 2010. Fans were piecing things together. A blurred baby photo in a removed TLC promo. A rumor surrounding a sealed adoption. Robyn's enigmatic hospital trip that never aired. Christine scrolled through comments numbering in the hundreds, her heart racing. She mouthed to herself, oh my God, was she protecting him? Or was she protecting herself? By the third day, even executives at TLC couldn't keep it in. Leaked internal memos came online, revealing that the network was aware of the test as far back as 2011, but chose to keep it under wraps, fearing reputational damage to the show. That one bombshell upended everything. For the first time, fans weren't simply attributing problems to Kody, they were also turning against TLC itself. #TLC exposed started trending. And amidst it all, Robyn Brown finally spoke. She uploaded a trembling video, shot in her kitchen, no makeup, no lighting, just tears. I'm not the villain. I'm a mother who was instructed to lie. I was afraid. I signed what they presented. I thought it was to save a child, but now I see that I saved the wrong person. The video reached 15 million in a single night. The courthouse the following morning saw a new sealed filing, this one courtesy of Robyn's attorney. The note that was inside stated, my client makes a demand for complete disclosure of the identity of Minor A and a fresh DNA test to establish lineage. The judge set a new hearing. And while the cameras swarmed outside again, Kody grumbled to himself to his lawyer. She's finally turning on me. The attorney answered softly, no, Kody, she's turning to the truth. The courtroom was hushed, so hushed you could hear the whir of the air conditioner and the soft hum of the TV cameras outside. Kody sat at the defense table, staring at the sealed envelope in front of the judge. This was it. The second DNA test, the one that could prove everything, or destroy what little remained of his life. But no one expected what happened next. Because just before the judge broke the seal, the courtroom doors opened, and a young woman stepped inside. She wasn't part of the media. She wasn't family. She was trembling, holding a crumpled letter, and whispering only 4 words, I think I'm her. Underscore, 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 underscore. The room stilled. Reporter swiveled. Robyn gasped. The judge scowled. "Excuse me, miss. Who are you?" The woman's voice broke. "My name is Hannah. I think I'm minor A." Gasps traversed the room. Christine's hand shot up to her mouth. Janelle whispered, "Oh my God." Kody's attorney leapt to his feet at once. "Your Honor, this is outrageous. She has no standing in this case." But the judge held up a hand. "We'll hear her." Hannah's voice shook. "I was adopted in Arizona in 2001. I discovered papers, DNA samples. My mother's name was blacked out, but one line wasn't. It read sample B. Robyn Sullivan." Robyn's face bleached white. Kody pounded his fist on the table. "This is crazy," he yelled. "She has nothing to do with this case. She's just another online rumor." The judge snapped. "Mr. Brown, you will hold your tongue until spoken to." Hannah's eyes welled up with tears. "I don't crave fame. I just want to know who I am." Sometimes the truth doesn't come in with permission. It bursts through the door and must be listened to. For a silent minute, the judge did not speak. Then she motioned to the bailiff. "Have Miss Hannah brought forward. We'll hear her statement under oath." The suspense was agonizing. Cameras on the outside caught the distant reverberations through the hallway. Live streams on the internet had viewers watching intently at the courthouse live feed, filling the chat room with messages such as, "Is this real? And they found her?" Robyn was unable to raise her eyes. Her fists shook in her lap. Kody leaned in close, breathing harshly. "You did this. You and your guilt." Tears flowed down Robyn's face. "No, Kody. I did not bring her here. The truth did." The judge opened the sealed envelope. The courtroom was silent with anticipation. She read quietly for a moment, her expression inscrutable. Then she looked up. "This report indicates that sample A and sample B have a 99.9% chance of a parental connection." Gasps filled the courtroom. Christine's eyes grew wide. "So it's true?" she whispered. The judge went on. "But that's not all. Sample A was compared with a database record from the Arizona Department of Health, one belonging to Hannah R." Robyn's head fell into her hands. Hannah started to sob quietly. "So it really is him." The judge nodded. "Yes, Kody Brown is your biological father." Kody slumped back in his chair, white, trembling. "No, no, this can't." Robyn cried softly. "I'm so sorry, Hannah. You were never supposed to know like this." Outside, the media was in meltdown. Headlines erupted. Kody Brown's secret daughter discovered. DNA proven in court. TLC lawyers arrived at the courthouse, calling for filming to be stopped. But it was too late. The footage had leaked out. Christine rose from the gallery, voice cracking. "You kept this from all of us, Kody. From your wives, from your children. For 20 years. He did not reply. He simply gazed blankly at the DNA report in the judge's hand, as if a man discovering his own legacy had been reduced to ashes. You can deny a rumor, but you can't deny a DNA match. As the judge ordered the courtroom to be brought to order, Hannah walked to the witness stand. Her voice calmed a little. "I grew up believing my parents didn't want me. I searched for years, and every door was shut. Until last month, when I discovered a name in my adoption file, Kody Sullivan. I had no idea who that was until the leak. Then I saw Robyn Brown on television, and I knew." The judge asked softly, "Do you want to have contact with the Browns?" Hannah hesitated. "I don't know. I just want answers." Robyn finally raised her head, her face streaming with tears. "Calm down, Hannah," she said in a low voice. "I was there when you were born. They told me you were part of a closed adoption. I thought hiding you would save everyone." Hannah's lips shook. "Save who? Me? Or him?" Kody snapped. "You don't understand the circumstances." The judge cut him off. "Enough, Mr. Brown. This court doesn't care about your show or your ratings. We're here for the truth." Kody's jaw clenched. The truth was complicated. Christine shouted from the back. "No, Kody. It was convenient." The judge slammed her gavel. Order. The tension was electric. Reporters scribbled notes. Cameras flashed, and the Brown family sat in stunned silence. After recess, the judge ordered Hannah's testimony placed into the record. Outside the courthouse, there were fans weeping, cheering, bickering, half in shock, half vindicated. Christine descended the steps beside Janelle, voice trembling. "She looks just like Robyn did when we met her." Janelle nodded. "It's haunting, isn't it? The past always has a way of creeping back." Inside, Robyn was still alone at the table, looking at the vacant witness stand. For years she'd had this secret, believing it would go away. But today, the world was in the know. The DNA envelope had performed as promised. That evening TL made a second emergency statement. Immediate effect, all production on Sister Wives has been put on hold pending legal consideration. The network is deeply concerned for all concerned. But the audience did not care about legal opinions. They cared about Hannah. She filled her social media with messages in hours, some kind, others vicious. She wrote one thing on her new page: "I didn't destroy a family, I just found mine." Kody parked alone in his truck outside the courthouse, holding on to the steering wheel, his image ethereal in the window. He murmured to himself, it was meant to remain buried. Why now? Why her? On the back seat, the second DNA envelope opened, was on the seat, lit up by the street lamp. And there, folded up inside, was one more document, another paternity addendum yet to be seen, and it named one more unknown child. Sample C. Relationship pending verification. Staring at that last sentence, Kody growled under his breath. There's another one. And somewhere in town, a phone rang late at night. Christine's phone. A voice in the background whispered, "You don't know the half of it." The courthouse seemed chillier that morning. Reporters occupied all the chairs. Fans milled outside beyond police tape, and chants in the distance could be heard ringing through marble corridors. They all believed that the story was finished. The envelope of DNA had been opened, the daughter discovered, the truth finally revealed. But tucked deep inside Kody Brown's briefcase was a final page, the sample C1. He'd concealed it from everyone, even Robyn. When the judge walked in, Kody's hand shook as he held the envelope. He knew that if it was opened there would be no return, not for him, not for any of them. Court is now in session, the judge said. Christine, Janelle, and Meri were seated in the front row, motionless. Hannah, the woman who had turned out to be minor sat with her attorney staring at Kody. Robyn's eyes were empty. She hadn't said one word to Kody since the previous hearing. The judge replied coolly, "Mr. Brown, your attorney has filed a supplemental report, which states there is an additional DNA test, sample C. Are you ready to reveal it?" Kody paused, then stood up. His voice broke. "Your Honor, I have to speak first." He looked over the gallery. "To my family, I believed preserving the truth would hold us together, but it only drove us apart." He swallowed hard. "I was informed years ago that there was another test, another child. I did not believe it. But the findings are within that envelope. You can conceal a lie a lifetime, but one envelope can reveal everything in an instant." The judge nodded to the clerk. "Let's go on." The courtroom was so quiet you could hear the gentle tear of paper when the seal was broken. The judge read the page slowly, lips clenching. At last, she looked up. The report states that sample C is a half-sibling match for both sample A and sample B. The crowd gasped. Christine breathed. "Another child." Robyn's hand shot to her mouth. "No, that's impossible." The judge continued. "The test confirms a biological link to Mr. Brown as the father. The maternal DNA, however, is not Robyn Brown's." Every head in the room turned toward Christine, Janelle, and Meri. Kody's eyes darted nervously. Christine rose slowly, her voice trembling. "Whose child is it?" The judge looked at her. According to the attached note, the sample was voluntarily submitted by Miss Meri Brown. The courtroom exploded in whispers. Meri froze, standing. "That's not true," she stated. I didn't know." The judge handed the page over to her. There was her signature at the bottom. Meri's face went pale. "This isn't real. I never signed this." Kody glared at her. "Meri? How?" Meri's head shook back and forth, her tears flowing. "I don't know. Maybe years ago. Maybe it was before. Maybe it was at the surrogate clinic we went to." The room was filled with confusion. Christine leaned over to Janelle and whispered, "Oh my God, it was during the fertility treatments." Kody's attorney jumped up. "Your Honor, my client requires clarification." The judge spoke loudly. "Enough. In the file, sample C is a genetic connection to a 2013 child conceived through a donor arrangement." Robyn's mouth fell open. 2013? That's the year we moved to Vegas. Kody's hands were shaking now. "I didn't know about this." The judge went on. "The court records that the sample was obtained from a minor who is now living in Nevada. Due to privacy concerns, the child's name will not be published. The air was thick, as if no one could catch their breath. Meri breathed softly. If this is real, then we have another child linked to our family, and none of us even knew. Kody dropped into his chair, gaze unfocused. I thought I was doing what was right. I thought I was protecting everyone. Christine's voice cracked. No, Kody, you were protecting yourself. Every secret requires a cost, and the longer you keep it buried, the greater the price tag. The judge adjourned to recess. Reporters gathered on the steps outside. Cameras clicked as the Browns made their way out, each individually. Janelle spoke first to the press, her tone calm but sharp. We didn't know, none of us did, but we'll face this as a family, even if we're not one anymore. Christine added, the truth doesn't destroy families, lies do. Meri said nothing. She just clutched the paper, staring at her forged signature, trying to remember where she'd seen that handwriting before. And then it hit her. Back in 2013, Robyn had helped her fill out fertility clinic forms that were never filed because they abandoned the process halfway through. The paperwork had been mailed to TLC for legal clearance, and those forms contained Meri's digital signature. Meri looked toward Robyn, realization dawning. You knew. Robyn shook her head in shock. Meri, no. I didn't forge anything. They said it was a release form. I swear I didn't have any idea what it was. Kody spun around to face her, his voice escalating. You said it was handled. You said. Robyn wept. I thought it was over, Kody. I thought they destroyed those records. Christine grumbled. Seems TLC didn't destroy anything. They simply left it sealed, waiting for the opportune moment. The network released a live statement that night, admitting that some documents had been kept on hand for legal purposes, but denying any impropriety. Fans weren't having it. #TLC new trended within hours. The first daughter, Hannah, spoke on camera. If there is another child, they have the right to know the truth before they see it on TV. Her words resonated. Days later, Meri was getting a confidential letter. No name of the sender. Only one sentence within you don't know me, but I think you're my mother. She sat there and read the words, her hands shaking, knowing the story wasn't finished, just starting. Kody, on the other hand, had his first off-the-cuff interview. Sitting by himself, he muttered softly, I thought family was about choice. Now I know it's about truth. And sometimes the truth won't fit in front of a camera. He shook his head, voice cracking. If I could do things over, I'd open the envelope the first time. And that is where we leave them. A family founded on faith, tried in fame, and broken apart by the secrets they attempted to hide. What would you've done if you were in Kody's shoes? Would you open the envelope, or seal it forever? Let me know what you think in the comments below, because this story isn't just theirs anymore. It's about every truth we're too scared to confront.